Hey guys, Happy New Year to you. I've been thinking for a long time about what to build at the beginning of the year 2025. I thought a small model would be great, so I spent a long time looking in my craft room for a 1:72 scale model and found one of the most beautiful airplanes I wanted to build for a long time. But somehow I never got around to it. The F-86 Sabre from Academy is a wonderful model. It's a little bit old, but it's okay. I found two additional parts and will add them to the model. And also I will build another small vignette at the end of the building session. This time on the subject of the Korean War, so let's get started. You can tell the age of the kit. Here and there I had to do a lot of sanding and filling, but unfortunately it's part of the job. I wanted to make the cockpit a bit prettier and found a photo etched part set from Eduard in 1:72 scale. Not for Academy, but you can cover and use a lot of the Fujimi kit as well. I built and painted the seat and the cockpit separately to have more space and not have to shout out the word F word too often. I recommend using a bending tool for processing the photo etch parts. You can certainly do this without it, but we want to work cleanly and build a beautiful model. So my recommendation is just to use a bending tool. Carefully cut out the photo etched parts with a cutter knife, remove the burr with a small file, and fix the parts with super glue. I either used toothpicks or stripped the thin cable and used this as a tool to apply the glue. This works great and you don't have to buy expensive tools for applying super glue. Once we have attached all the add-on parts, we can start painting. Again, it's important to treat the etched parts with a metal primer beforehand to prevent the paint from chipping off during later work steps and causing annoyance. Then you can prime the parts. I like to work with black to create first fake shadows and also to ensure that no plastics show through if the paint has not covered properly. I opted for a gray for the base color. Here too, it is advisable to look for reference pictures on the internet to create more depth. I applied a lighter shade of gray thinly from above in several passes in a second step to create the first highlights. Once everything has dried well and properly, you can start painting the details in the next step. Here too, you should look for reference pictures on the internet as well and use these as a guide. It's important not to apply the paint too thickly, but to model it and build it up layer by layer. To create even more contrast, you can also accentuate raised areas by mixing Iraqi sand within the base color to create beautiful color gradations. It is important to allow the first layers to dry properly, just to make sure that you don't peel off the color again. It is also advisable to paint cables and belts in black color first and then paint over them with the desired color. This creates a small edge and adds depth to single parts of the model. Buttons and switches are painted in the best way with a 5/0 brush, a really thin brush. Always use fresh paint on the brush and try to work in individual sections. This detail work takes time, and so it's really important that you take your time because you can overdo it and you can ruin the work of the last hours. So take your time when painting knobs and switches. To emphasize edges and corners, we cover the components with a thin wash. I opted for a dark shade of gray this time from Ammo. It's an oil paint, because black can sometimes be too extreme and can make the model look too hard. After the inside of the fuselage is painted, all the photo edge parts are painted, everything is dried properly, and you are satisfied with the result, we can install the cockpit in the fuselage. The age of the kit is particularly evident here. I almost went mad because there were suddenly huge gaps. The whole model was under tension, so I had to fix the fuselage. Small clamps worked well to hold the model in the mold until the glued had hardened enough. Now it was time to install the main panel. I had to construct something new here, as the panel from the kit did not harmonize with the photo etch parts, so I built a new instrument panel from styrene using the etched parts as a template. I painted the panel black and used the dry brush method to highlight the instruments. After that, glue all the parts together and insert the instrument panel into the fuselage. So guys, that's it for today. The first part of the F-86 Sabre is done. I finished the cockpit. Here you can see the final result. I hope you enjoyed it. It would be great if you subscribe or leave a comment, a constructive comment, just to make sure that we can better ourselves in building models. And see you next time. Happy modeling.